hired. For some positions, not showing up at late is just good protocol, and for others, it's highly necessary. This is especially true for the jobs require you to take over someone else whose shift is ending or you need to work with a team. Rule 2, be authentic. Interviews are a mutual assessment, a bit like speed dating. Everyone is looking for the right fit. Be comfortable and natural, and chances are you'll be liked for who you are. If you are, and the interview results in job offer, that's great. If it doesn't work, it's like that day didn't work for you. Accept it with a smile and get moving. The third rule, be prepared. Learn about the company ahead of the interview day. Your research will help answering questions about the organization during the interview, and also ask interviewer questions on what you may not know and want to know about it. This will establish your seriousness about the job. No matter how well you prepare, it is natural to feel anxious and overwhelmed at the time of the interview. Mock interviews can be a great help in this regard. They can create a real interview-like environment and help boost your confidence. Ask your friends or family to conduct a mock interview for you. Consider recording the entire process to analyze your own performance. If you can't find anyone to play the interviewer, you can rehearse the interview in front of a mirror or on a mobile recording. Interviewers always enjoy discussing what's happening in their environment. It's a good way for you to hear how enthusiastic an employee feels about the place where he or she may work in near future. Describe what draws you to the company and why. An interviewer wants to understand your motives and whether they fit with the organization's culture. Rule 4. Be candid and friendly. Don't be afraid to talk about what's on your mind. Focus less on impressing the interviewer and more on being open and striving for an honest conversation. Be firm and confident while speaking to the interviewer. You can start practicing at the very moment you enter the company. Be mindful of your body language while interacting with the front office research and the HR executive on the day of interview before you're called in for the interview. Pay attention to how you smile and greet the interview at the first meet. Rule 5. Be confident. Approach the situation as an equal, not as a supplicant. In most situations, organizations are looking for someone who can hold the table, provided they are not arrogant. Confidence is the act of trusting yourself. During a job interview, showing that you trust yourself is critical because it can lead your interviewer to trust in you as well. Aim to communicate to your interviewer that you know you can do the job well. However, it is normal to feel nervous when being interviewed. So try to take some time to practice how to appear confident before your interview. Rule 6. Be curious. The best interviews are interactive. Ask questions, ask for advice. Ask your interviewer what they enjoy most about working for the organization. Find a way to engage interviewer and always make sure the conversation goes both ways. Interviewers like to talk to, so they can share what they know. Rule 7. Avoid discussing divisive and contradictory issues. Be self Avoid 100% quoting any divisive and contradictory examples during course of the interview. Unless or until asked by the interviewer, any such questions be answered in a very balanced and expressive way with your own views and never be argumentative or stray into any gray areas. Rule 8. Consider your strengths and weaknesses. Focus on how your experience and skills relate to the role in question. How you answer this question reveals a lot to the interviewer. Are you bashful or a bragger? Self-critical or likely to let yourself off the hook? The answers you provide could quash concerns the interviewer identified from your CV or raise new issues. Be honest, but tread carefully. To prepare, outline some key examples and back them up with evidence, ideally in a work context. These are the 8 golden rules of interview for everyone to follow. Now we'll open the session for Q&As.
Right. So the first question we have is from Instagram, sir. And Juhi is asking what to do if my confidence drops midway through the interview.
It's a good question, and most of the interviewers have this kind of fixation. And as been told in the golden rules, unless or until you go with a positive mind and a very cool mind, everyone is likely to go through this situation. So the most important thing is preparation for interview will avoid you all kinds of happenings in an interview.
Thank you for that. Mayank Gokhale from Bhopal has a question from YouTube. He is asking, my interviewer was not smiling all the way through the interview. Is it because he was unhappy with me or he is just a crooked person?
I don't think you can conclude that he was crooked. Every individual has his own way of looking at things. So I don't think it should matter for you on the day of interview as to how the interviewer is disposed. The most important thing is understand what is the question he's posing you and try to answer the question with more relevant details.
So we have a viewer from Facebook. It's called Facebook user. Okay, the name is hidden for some reason. The question is, क्या entry level jobs में interview matter करती है सर? अगर करती है तो कितना?
Entry level jobs पे interview matter करता है भैया. The reason is you are for the first time going and facing the interview, right? That's the most important interview you will face in your life. So entry level job, the interview has a lot of relevance. The reason is when you go for an entry level job, your basic skills and your basic understanding about how you want to do a job is tested there.
So we have a question from Instagram Live. We are also live on Instagram, sir. And the question is, what should be the best attire to wear on the interview day?
Oh, this is a good question. So basically, you look at the organization where you're going for an interview, see what kind of attire is needed based on the organization and its ethos and its culture. That's the best way to dress and go for an interview.
Here's another question. I have an interview coming up for an acting job. Any advice, sir?
Interview coming up for an acting job. Yeah, this is slightly different from your regular job interview. Now, when you go for an acting interview, right, the most important thing is your skill to act, right? So the most of your concentration has to be on how you're going to demo a role play which is going to be asked in that interview. So be prepared with that skill called acting, and it should come to you naturally and it should come to you consistently.
Here's a question from Miss Savitri. Savitri is asking, I am about to resume my teaching career after a break of 3 years. What should I do and what should I avoid?
Well, this is a relevant question, I feel, Savitri. See, last 3 years, as you know, the entire world is hit with pandemic. Maybe 3 years before, the classroom had a different situation, and today the classroom has totally a different situation where the technology has become the teacher rather than intervention. So before attending any interviews, it is strongly recommended for you to know what are the technology nuances that are being used for by every teacher today in a classroom. Update yourself on this and then attend an interview.
Okay. Here's a very interesting question. The question comes from Asif from Hyderabad. Asif is saying, hi sir, I have been following your work in the medical field for a long while and consider myself to be a huge fan. I see myself going to interviews for a medical representative job. What should I do to get the job?
Wow. See, one can guide you to prepare for an interview and how to perform best, right? But there is no training school anywhere which can tell you that you'll get a job with an assurance, right? Now, the three most important things which a medical job seeker should have in mind is number one, if you have any previous experience, see that your previous experience can be presented in the interview. Number two, if you don't have the previous experience, please read in detail about the organization where you're attending an interview and find out what are the areas in which the organization is operating, and see how your existing skill sets can be aligned and presented in the interview.
Thank you so much for that, sir. Right. So we received a few questions over email as well, and this one was particularly interesting, right? Kavita is asking, I need to go for an interview which is for the position of a research associate in the field of space technology.
Wow. Hmm.
Right. I am extremely jittery. I need lots of advice and good wishes.
Okay. Now, having qualified in space technology yourself, I don't see why you should be in jitters. Rather, you should be very confident because the subject in which you have gone ahead in your career itself is the most sort of field today, and especially in India, we are doing great achievements in this field, right? So the first thing what I understand from you is you are lacking that element of a bit of self-confidence. In the 8 golden rules, we have told you about how to be confident in rule number 5. I think you need to revise this, and there you are.
Thank you so much. Okay, another question we have from जमशेदपुर somebody is asking सर मुझे स्टंटमैन के लिए जॉब इंटरव्यू पे जाना है काफी अच्छे स्टंट्स करता हूँ लेकिन कम्युनिकेशन बहुत वीक है इंटरव्यू से डर लगता है क्या करें
Wow. Firstly, I should congratulate you for asking this question without any apprehensions. Uh, See, when you say you want to go for a stuntman's interview, right? Basically, this is not asking you for any oratory skills as such. So you need to first take away that fear that you are going to be tested for your oratory skills, right? If you're going for an interview for acting, अगर आप acting करने जा रहे तो आपको थोड़ा हिचकिचाहट लगना चाहिए. मगर if you're going for a stuntman's interview, the stuntman's interview will basically be demonstrating your skills as to how you're going to do your stunts. So be prepared with the best of the stunt you can perform and show it to the interviewer, and there you are doing the double for Akshay Kumar in the next movie.
well I'm sure that was extremely helpful the next question is I need a basic call center job to support my family kindly give us a few interview tips sir
Okay. See, the call center job is the most sort of job if you understand today's job market. The reason is communications have become most important part of our life, and marketing and sales. So a call center job acquires a very central place in job market, and there is huge demand for this role. And this role actually demands three skills, as you understand. One is your knowledge of English when you speak to your customer. Number two, your basic skills of understanding business and how to do sales. So if you have these three skills, I think you will be a successful telecall.
so Supriya from Pune is asking Sir, I am fed up. Okay, this is not typically an interview question. She's saying, Sir, I am fed up with my sales job. Could you please suggest an alternative career for me?
Okay. Now, You've been in sales, as you say. Uh, by now, I think this very role of being in sales would have given you a very variegated experience in life. Now, coming to this, since you have exposure already and you know various kind of other careers which are there, you have a greater choice when compared to a first timer and a person who's just been there. So I think to make a choice, you need to understand your previous job and the skills you had vis-a-vis, make a comparison and see what were the skills you are missing or what are the additional skills you have acquired over a period of time, and what these skills can match and get you a new career ahead.
Okay. So Vikram Singh is asking, Sir, I become nervous when I see more than three people in an interview panel. What would you advise me?
Okay. I think actually this is a very easy thing if you can train your mind before going into a interview room as such. Just imagine that you're going to have four or five people sitting as a panel and going to ask you questions. The problem here is with your mindset, right? Mind thinks, and it's the thinking which actually gets you into jitters. So if you are confident, as been told in the golden rules, the thinking helps a lot of situations in life, and especially in the interview. If you are prepared ahead that you're going to face a panel, it makes your interview more easier.
I have qualified for the written examinations of railways, but now I am extremely nervous for the personal interview because I want a government job now. What should I do, sir?
Okay. First, let me congratulate you that in a very big world of competition, in a tough competition, you have cleared your returns. Right? This is not an easy task. So this should actually boost up your mindset to go to the interview. Right? Now, in the interview, what they are going to ask you is going to be the decisive thing whether you're going to get this job or not. Now, please look into the pattern of interviews that happen in railways, which are readily available in guides and in a couple of magazines. If you can just read them, there will be some basic questions about your qualification and your experience, and how your experience or your skill sets will be useful in the job that you're going to start up with railways. It won't be nothing more than this. So I think if you can prepare well ahead with these inputs, I think we should surely see you working in railways the next time we talk.
Mhm. The next question again is not about interview, so you may or may not answer this, sir. Somebody is asking, is field sales a bad career choice?
No, I would say sales is the best job one can think of doing at any point of time in life, because it teaches you so many things, right? Unlike other domains, which are very specific and which are very myopic, I would say. When I say myopic, they are very narrow in the way they lead you into a career way forwards. But sales, it actually opens up a door every day. So never, never, never think that sales is a bad choice.
Mhm. Okay. The next one is interesting too. Somebody is saying, I have been a professor at a private college for more than 10 years and I'm thinking of a job change now.
Mhm.
The problem is that I have not taken a job interview in the last 10 years and am totally at sea about how to proceed with it. Kindly advise.
Yeah. Uh, I think, Professor, I really don't think you will have any tough circumstances in facing an interview. The reason is simple. See, you have been into teaching for 10 years, so you have wide knowledge about what is happening around, right? That's the basic funda, and that's your basic strength if you can understand, right? And it doesn't matter that one should attend interviews regularly in the course of life to be successful in life or to be successful in a career. See, interview is not anything that is coming down from the skies. One need not fear about it. Interview, please understand this as just a process which allows you to understand mutually, nothing beyond that.
सर मेरी ड्रीम कंपनी आईटीसी है. Who is the best person in the company to contact so that I can get an interview and a job there?
This is a good and bad question. Uh, when I say good, you're very clear as to where you want to work. To that extent, this is a very good question. And bad because you cannot choose your boss and work, right? So, first thing is if you are qualified and you are applying to a job in ITC, yes, there is every way that you can make yourself uh, applying to that job and then getting an interview and going for an interview and getting through the interview. I think that that's the way it happens.
Okay, so we have a super interesting question here. Hi, sir. I have a lot of experience in the sales domain. Can I get an interview at your company?
Yeah, I think EZJobs, yes, our doors are open anytime. You can come in, walk in, and register yourself with our front office, and we are sure that we will call you in for interview.
Okay, somebody's asking, sir, who is your role model in the corporate world?
My role model in corporate world. Uh, Good question. I think I would say Walt Disney.
Okay. You want to explain why, sir?
Walt Disney. Why? See, this man was very, very sure that dreams will come true, right? He was the first man in those days who very openly and loudly said one has to dream, right? And dreams make a difference.
Thank you so much. Would you advise young folks to go for jobs in startups or in MNCs?
See, it all depends on the way you are wanting yourself to be in next 3 years or 5 years or 10 years. This is called planning your career, right? Unlike a first timer, it all depends. If you already have experience, very less people prefer to go to startups. But one should always look at a startup because the startup gives you more opportunity to prove yourself, unlike an established organization where your role is defined and you have to work in given parameters. But whereas in a startup, it gives you more opportunity and it teaches you more ways to quickly learn and also adapt and then demonstrate your skills.
I have cleared multiple rounds of interview at a company, but there is still no call from the HR, positive or negative. What should I do now? Whom should I reach out to?
This is a very good question, and I think many of you will be having this kind of situation, as I understand. See, one good thing all of you should understand about corporates is corporates go with big planning, great time planning, detailed planning. So if you are being called for 2 or 3 rounds of interview, it doesn't mean that it is vexation. Please understand this. There is a detailed process for different corporates, right? So there would be advanced planning that if I need to take 10 people in the quarter 3, I may start interviewing people in quarter 2. But if I finish the interview process earlier to that, yeah, definitely you'll be kept waiting for 2 more months because I start in the third quarter. This should not be understood that the company is disappointing you. Very few people understand this quarter by quarter planning. And if you really go deep into corporate planning, you understand this. So next time something is getting delayed, please don't be disappointed.
Thank you so much. I hope that was reassuring. The next question is, some interviews have many rounds in one day. How do I keep my energy up throughout the day?
Hmm. Okay. Now, when you are young, your energy is always up. Now, where is the question of the energy getting down? Right? Unless or until you are getting disappointed yourself, or you are telling your mind that I cannot sit through a process of 8 hours or 9 hours. Just imagine this, right from your childhood, we were going to a school, right? Morning 9 o'clock to 4 o'clock, then to the playground, then back to home and study, right? Now, this is where the whole concept and foundation of your tenacity is ingrained. Now, why do we start losing this as we complete the school and get into a college domain? You need to think on this, right? There is absolutely no stress. It is you want yourself to be relaxed all of a sudden. It is only that one day that's going to make the difference in your life, right? Just have that mindset. If I sit through today for 8 hours, yes, I am the winner.
Mhm. Okay, so I think we have around 2 more minutes, right, sir? So let's try and accommodate as many questions as possible. इंटरव्यू लेने वाले ऑफिसर के बारे में कैसे रिसर्च करना है?
क्यों करना है? The question is क्यों करना है? You need not research about the interviewer who's going to interview on that particular day, which is very difficult for everyone who's going for an interview. In that case, you are not researching how to present yourself in the interview, and you're just wasting your precious time.
Mhm. Is it okay to stop my interviewer in the middle of a sentence if I have a very important point?
100%. 100%. That would be actually appreciated by every interviewer. If you really have a good point, you can definitely ask.
Mhm. This happened in a recent interview. One person in the interview panel did not ask any question at all. Is that normal?
Okay. Now, in a previous question, somebody was asking, I have a fear if there is a panel of interviewers, right? This is something similar to that again. It's all matter of mind, right? Once your mind is set, let there be 5, 6 people. Let anybody ask any question. Let anybody may not ask the question. It's as simple as that, right? It is all mindset that particular day and how easily and how happily you are on that day.
That's about it. I think we are up for the time. The questions are starting up, but we have to close as well, sir.
Okay. So, some other time, let's catch up. All the best to you all.
Yeah, we'll be live every Thursday at the same time, 3 p.m.
Okay.